The ocean is not a quiet place. It is full of sound. The crack of polar ice, the deep moans of great whales calling across leagues of water, and the chaotic symphony of a million creatures existing together. And beneath it all, deeper than the darkest trenches, was the kingdom of the Sea King. His palace was built from phosphorescent coral and adorned with pearls the size of human eyes. He was a widowed king, ruling the oceans with a powerful trident and a heart heavy with sorrow. He had 6 daughters, and the youngest, Ariel, was the most beautiful, but also the most troubled. While her sisters were content to tend their coral gardens or collect glittering baubles from shipwrecks, Ariel yearned for something else. She was obsessed with the world above, the dry, human world. She had spent her life collecting their objects. A fork she believed was a comb, a headless marble statue of a prince, coins that had lost their shine. She kept them in a secret grotto, a museum to a world she could only dream of. But more than objects, she longed to listen. Her voice was the most prized thing in the kingdom, a sound so clear and powerful it could calm sea storms. But she found her own voice a reminder of her prison. She sang of the sun, of fire, of feet, things she had never known. On her 16th birthday, as was tradition, Ariel was allowed to swim to the surface for the first time. She rocketed upwards, through the deep blue, and broke the surface just as the sun was setting. The world above took her breath away. The sky was an oil painting of vibrant purples and golds. And there, floating on the water, was a massive ship lit with hundreds of lanterns and overflowing with music. It was a birthday party. She swam closer, hidden by the waves, and saw him. He was the prince of that land, Eric. He was not perfectly handsome. His hair was messy from the sea wind, and his smile was a little goofy. But when he laughed, Ariel felt her heart, an organ she was never truly aware of, clench. She was in love, an instant, desperate, and impossible love. Then the storm hit. It did not arrive slowly. It attacked like an angry beast. The sky ripped open. The waves rose like mountains, and the ship was a wooden toy. Screams mixed with the roar of thunder. The ship splintered. Ariel did not think. She dove into the wreckage, searching for him. She found Eric, unconscious, sinking into the abyss. With all her strength, she pulled him to the surface, fighting the waves that tried to rip him from her grasp. She kept his head above water, singing to him, a song of hope and light, all through the long, dark night. As dawn broke, she pulled him onto a small beach near a convent. She pushed his wet hair from his face. She wanted to kiss him, but she didn't dare. When she heard the voices of young women from the convent coming down to the beach, she dove back into the water, her heart breaking. She watched them find him. She watched Eric stir, his eyes blurry, remembering only a song, a phantom. Ariel returned to the sea, but she no longer belonged there. Eric's music was the only thing she could hear. His smile was the only thing she could see. Humans. King Triton roared when he discovered her secret. They are dangerous. They are fish eaters, defilers of the sea. I forbid you to think of them. To prove his point, he swam to her grotto. In his rage and pain, he raised his trident. I am doing this for your own good, he said, and he destroyed it all. The statue, the fork, everything she cherished, turned to dust. Ariel did not cry. She felt something colder than sadness, resolve. She swam away, not home, but to the most dangerous place in the ocean, the lair of the sea witch, Ursula. Ursula was not just a witch. She was the embodiment of the ocean's deep-seated resentment and ambition. She lived in the skeleton of a great leviathan, guarded by two slithering electric eels. A royal visitor, Ursula sneered, her voice like thick oil. Triton's favorite daughter. So beautiful, but so sad. I know what you want. She gestured to a hazy vision of Prince Eric in her cauldron's smoke. A young man. How trivial. But love doesn't need a reason, does it? Please, Ariel whispered. I want to be with him. I want to be human. Of course, my dear, Ursula said. Magic is my specialty. I can do it. A pair of legs. 3 days. If, within those 3 days, the prince gives you the kiss of true love, you will remain human forever. If you fail, at sunset on the 3rd day, you will turn back into a mermaid, and you will belong to me. Forever. What is the price? Ariel asked, knowing it would be terrible. Nothing much, Ursula shrugged. Just a trifle. Something you won't need on land, where they value witty conversation. I want your voice. Her voice. Her only joy, her only identity. But as she looked at Eric's image, it seemed a small price to pay. Ariel nodded. Ursula cackled. She began her song, a dark hymn of exchange. Magical hands rose from the cauldron. They reached for Ariel's throat and pulled out a glowing golden orb. It's her voice. Ariel opened her mouth to scream, but no sound came out. Then came the pain. It felt as if her tail was being split in two by 1,000 red-hot knives. It was a burning, tearing, unimaginable agony. She blacked out from the pain as Ursula's magic pushed her toward the surface. She woke up on the beach, naked, shivering and mute. She looked down. Where her emerald tail had been, there were 2 strange, pale things. Legs. She tried to stand and collapsed in agony. Ursula hadn't lied about the legs, but she had omitted one detail. Every step felt like walking on daggers. Eric found her there. He saw this beautiful, silent girl with the haunted eyes, and his pity was stirred. He did not recognize her. The girl who saved him had the voice of an angel. This girl could not speak. He took her to the castle. They gave her magnificent clothes and rich food. She was treated as an honored guest, a beautiful pet. 2 days passed in a haze of misery. Ariel tried. God, how she tried. She used her eyes, her smile, the way she danced, even though every movement was agony, to make him remember. And he almost did. He was charmed by her. He took her on his boat, in the same lagoon where he had almost died. The mood was perfect. He leaned in, ready to kiss her. But Ursula's eels overturned the boat. The moment was broken. Ursula had been watching. She was furious. That mute little brat is doing better than I thought, she hissed. She could not afford to lose a royal soul. The witch decided to take matters into her own hands. Using her magic, she transformed into a beautiful woman named Vanessa. And around her neck, in a nautilus shell, she wore Ariel's stolen voice. Vanessa appeared on the beach, singing Ariel's song. Eric heard it. Instantly, he was mesmerized. It was the voice. It was the girl who had saved him. Ursula's dark magic enveloped him, erasing all memory of Ariel. "We will be married at once," he declared. From her balcony, Ariel, in her nightgown, saw the announcement. She heard her own voice coming from the new bride. The pain in her feet was nothing compared to the pain in her chest. The wedding was set to take place on a great ship at sunset on the 3rd day. Ariel had only hours left. Her animal friends, the only ones who knew the truth, took action. The seagulls, the dolphins, and even the crab, Sebastian, who had followed her, all coordinated an attack. They dive-bombed Vanessa at the altar. In the chaos, the shell around Vanessa's neck was thrown off and shattered. Ariel's voice, the golden orb, flew back and entered her. "Eric," she said, Just one word. The prince turned. The spell broke. He saw her, really saw her, for the first time. Ariel, it was you? He rushed to kiss her, but it was too late. The last sliver of the sun dipped below the horizon. The third day was over. Ariel screamed as her legs fused back into a tail, the agonizing transformation reversing itself. "You poor, unfortunate soul!" Ursula boomed, reverting to her true, monstrous form. She grabbed Ariel and dragged her into the sea. The contract was binding. "Wait!" a voice commanded. King Triton appeared, his trident glowing. "We have a deal!" Ursula laughed, holding up the magical contract. "No, my daughter!" Triton yelled. He tried to destroy the contract, but it was protected by the oldest magic. "What can I do?" "Make an exchange," Ursula whispered. "A soul for a soul." Triton looked at his daughter, cowering in the witch's grip. He dropped his trident. "Let her go." The contract changed. Ariel's name faded, and Triton's burned in its place. He cried out as his power was drained, turning him into a shriveled, helpless piece of coral. "Now I am queen!" Ursula shrieked, grabbing the trident and the crown. She grew, becoming a typhoon of darkness and rage. Eric, who had followed in a small boat, would not give up. While Ursula was mad with her new power, creating a giant whirlpool, Eric found an old, wrecked ship. He steered it, against all logic, straight into the heart of the storm, straight at Ursula. The sharp bowsprit impaled the witch. With a final, terrifying shriek, Ursula's power exploded. She disintegrated into 1,000 pieces of shadow. With her death, the spell was broken. King Triton was restored. The cursed souls in Ursula's garden were set free. On the surface, Ariel held an unconscious Eric, just as she had the first time. But this time, King Triton watched them from below. He had seen the human's bravery. He had seen his daughter's love. He understood. When Eric awoke on the beach, he saw Ariel walking toward him, not on a tail, but on her own 2 legs. "Father?" Ariel looked back at the water. King Triton nodded, a sad smile on his face. It was his final gift, one given not by magic, but by a father's love. Ariel had her prince and she had her legs, but she had also lost the sound of the sea. Standing on the sand, she felt the breeze, and for the first time she felt cold. She had gained the human soul she so desired, but she would forever be homesick for a symphony she could no longer join. Hand in hand with Eric, the little mermaid began her new life in the silence of the human world.